Decent. Not great.
Here's the thing with
Decent.
Detroit. It was a delay of game. The kick shouldn't have counted.
They got screwed.
How does nobody catch it? I'm watching it. I'm literally watching it saying, that's delay of game.
66 yards.
And he hits the up and
bounces the right way.
Yeah, of course, because, well, God forbid, nothing goes right for Tucker. He doesn't miss ever.
Yeah.
I personally, if Detroit can figure out just how to slow the run down, they should win this game without a problem.
Right.
Best receiver on the field is Allen Robinson in Chicago.
But he's got nobody throwing to him.
He caught 2 balls last week.
But who's throwing? I don't
That's
think they've
my
announced
thing.
the
He
winner
caught
yet.
2 balls. He's the best receiver on the field.
Yeah.
And Detroit doesn't have necessarily a shutdown corner, but I don't think Fields can get him the ball. I don't think Mooney's a guy you want. I think that I'm playing Montgomery because if they actually give him the ball, you got a shot. On Detroit,
is Mrs. Fields playing though? I know it's kind of like up in the air. Is Dalton definitely back? Because I don't think that they're naming the quarterback yet.
I don't think they're benching Fields.
Nagy's
yet.
But Nagy hasn't named anybody yet. He's leaving it up in the air.
I think they're going to give Fields a home start before they bench him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying they want to see what he can do at home. That's my gut. I think unless they feel that he was completely overmatched, which he was. I mean, if it's Dalton, you like Chicago.
Right.
To be honest, if it's Detroit,
how can you trust a Gingy?
I mean, it's Detroit if it's Fields.
How do you trust a Gingy? But I guess you have no choice.
Listen, he led the Bengals to the playoffs a lot.
Right. But okay, Carolina, Dallas. You could say a big win, but Philadelphia's not that good. So
they're not that good.
They're
but
doing what they need to do.
Defensively, they're better than they showed.
Right.
And Dallas's offensive passing game is the best in the league right now.
Right.
And that's with Gallup out.
And I hate to say that.
Listen, I hate the Cowboys too, and I'm a Jet fan. So,
yeah.
I mean, listen, the front-running Cowboys. Even Elliott looked decent last week, which is a little bit surprising. But Pollard's getting more and more carries.
Right. And going up against a tough Carolina defense.
Carolina's D is going to stop the run relatively well. Listen, but you can't bench any of the receivers on Dallas.
No.
To the point where even the backup third string was it Quincy Miller or something like that? What's the guy's name? I can't remember.
Barney Miller.
Barney Miller. I'll look it up.
For those young people, that was a show way back in the 70s.
The guy in The Godfather was Fish.
Anyway. Yeah, there you go. Abe Vigoda. Is he dead yet?
I think
he's dead,
might
right?
be. I think he's 100% dead.
He's not only merely dead; he's really quite sincerely
Either way, Dallas,
dead.
you're playing the passing game.
Oh, back to football.
Yeah, we should talk about that. Dallas playing the passing game. Juba Hubbard was a guy that everybody jumped on this week because of the injury to McCaffrey last week.
I was singing like a small person. Because I think if you use the word munchkin, that's
here's the thing about Juba Hubbard. Led college in rushing 2 years ago. He can certainly run. Oklahoma State has produced a couple of running backs.
I think
Barry Sanders being one.
If you have
who
him,
wasn't that big.
If you have him, that's great. The question is, how long is McCaffrey out?
He's going to be out a few weeks, they said. So you figure about 4. You figure, right? But Juba Hubbard's a guy that gets you over the hump. If the guy, and in our league, he was free. Yeah. Nobody drafted the handcuff. There was an opportunity to get him.
Yep. I went back and forth with this because I've got Washington's D. And I obviously had to get rid of Washington's D because they almost single-handedly. No, last week he didn't single-handedly lose on me because the rest of my team sucked too. But I went back and forth between Dallas and Cincy. I took Cincy.
Yeah, I mean, Cincy's D it's been pretty good, and they're playing Jacksonville.
Pretty good, and they're playing Jacksonville.
I mean, Dallas's D is okay. I think that the inaccuracy of Jalen Hurts hurt Dallas. I mean, their linebackers run sideline to sideline. If you're a scrambling quarterback, they'll mess with you a little bit. But Carolina's Sam Darnold, not a scrambling quarterback. If the O-line can hold up against this Dallas front, I think that Sam's a guy you could play this week. He's been pretty good.
A couple of touchdowns that he ran for last week.
The receivers, the 2 top receivers over there, Moore and Anderson. Moore definitely play Anderson, really only in a flex position.
Right. I don't know what your spread is. I got 4.5. Dallas is favored. I'm taking Carolina.
I am going to take Carolina as well. I think that coming off a Monday night, one less day to practice.
Right.
I think Carolina's a little bit more prepared.
And not to mention Carolina had extra days of rest.
They played Thursday, so they got the extra rest.
Gotcha. I just lost there we go. Indianapolis, Miami. Indianapolis, no doubt about it, gets their first win of the season.
The Jacoby Brissett Bowl.
Yeah.
Played for Indianapolis.
Yep.
Played for New England. Now plays for Miami. I think that Well, listen, Miami actually took the Raiders to overtime last week and came down the field impressively to do it.
Uh-huh.
I trust nobody except for Gaskin on their offense right now because with Brissett leading the way.
Right.
When Tua may play this week, we're just not 100% sure.
And I don't think it matters whether it's Tua or Brissett.
I agree with you. Indy's defense is going to be prepared to stop the run. Indy, Wentz again, is good enough. He's Jeff Hostetler. He's good between the 20s. And then when you have to punch it in, you settle for 3 a lot.
Yes, that's why we won
Indy's
17,
home.
14.
Indy's on the road. I'm sorry, against Miami. I think Indy can win this game. It'll be a close game, but I think Indy can win.
I think Indy wins the game as well. Cleveland against Minnesota. Minnesota back against the wall last week. Come up big
with no Dalvin Cook.
And of course, if you have Madison, how do you pronounce his name?
Yep. Madison's how you pronounce his name. Alexander Madison.
Like Oscar Madison?
Alexander.
Madison, that's with a D. Another 70s sitcom that you youngins have no idea what I'm talking about.
Matti.
Yes.
Listen, he played great. I went up against him. The reason I lost was Alexander Madison, but the guy also had Cook, so I would have lost either way anyway. That he couldn't play. I thought that they would come out really strong at home. They did. I think they'll do the same thing again. I think they'll beat Cleveland.
And Kirk Cousins has been playing decent.
Well, listen, his receiving core is excellent.
Right.
But he used a tight end a ton last week. Went to Conklin a ton last week. And that's another tight end that might be available. I mean, Cleveland will get the pass rush. You got Garrett out there, stuff like that. Your position plays. Odell's already limited in practice. You figure he's playing. They're probably just going to limit him all season long.
Right.
Chubb got banged up last week, so it'll be interesting to see if he plays or not. That makes
he'll be in there.
Yeah, you figure Kareem Hunt is definitely a play against Minnesota.
I got to tell you, it doesn't matter whether if you have Chubb or Hunt. They're both playing a lot. I mean, Hunt's still giving you decent fantasy points. Is he your number one running back? No,
but he could be your number two.
But he could be your number two.
And for Minnesota, you play those receivers and the tight end, like I said, and the running back. I mean, listen, I think all the fantasy guys are in. Baker Mayfield and Cousins could both be played as well this week. The one thing I'll say is that with Cleveland, the loss of Jarvis Landry is going to affect that offense more than people realize.
Yeah.
Because he's that guy on third down that gets open.
Do you think Odell had something to do with the injury?
I think, it's the Kerrigan, Nancy Kerrigan and
Tanya
Harding. Even though they went to college together, these two, it could be that type of thing.
Yeah,
that was when taking a knee meant taking a knee back.
That's right, absolutely.
During the Tanya Harding days, and names like Galuli were like household names for you youngins.
And if you did something wrong, you did a Galuli.
You
Galulied. So anyway, betting wise, if you're going to,
I like the Vikes at home.
I like the Browns actually.
And there we are.
Giants against New Orleans. The Giants do not get on the board victory-wise, I don't think. But they do cover the spread at 7.5.
I like the Giants to cover it as well. Here's the thing about New Orleans. You have to, if they can key on Kamara and keep him under control, they can win the game.
Right.
But
they can't.
But the thing is, the Saints have a great O-line and a great D-line. They win at the trenches. I mean, New England, they embarrassed New England in New England.
Yeah.
Mac Jones 0-2 at home.
Especially after, granted, it was the Jets, but the defense supposedly played so well the week before.
Yeah, they picked
just
off
get
4
decimated.
balls that Zach threw right to him.
Right.
And when we get to the Jets, I'll explain the Zach Wilson problem in a little bit. But yeah, I think the Giants will cover it. I think the Giants could be in.
Shepard is questionable, right?
He's questionable. Ingram should play.
Unfortunately.
Saquon, you have to play.
Yeah.
I don't think you play Daniel Jones.
Slayton is questionable this
Slayton's
week.
probably not going to play, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think he practiced today.
I think that because of the myriad of injuries to the wide receiving core on this, we might see Tony.
Who I picked up. I'm not playing him.
It's not a bad pickup, though, because you don't know how long these injuries last.
Right.
But you might see Tony. And if you don't see a heavy dose of Galladay, who's going to go up against Lattimore, that's a tough matchup. Mm-hmm. But he's got some size on him. Yeah, that'll be interesting. On the New Orleans side, I still don't trust Jameis.
Yeah.
You're playing Kamara,
None of the receivers have really said, hey, I'm your man.
Yeah, Callaway had a better game last week. I already released him. Mm-hmm. They don't have much. Michael Thomas will be back, and we'll see how good that team is after week 6.
Tennessee and New York. I assume you're taking the Giants for the spread, right?
For the Jets, 7.5.
For the Jets, but for the other game, you're taking the Giants, right?
I'm taking the Giants.
Taking the points.
I'm also taking the Jets, which sounds ridiculous.
It does sound ridiculous.
But the Jets do a decent job of stopping the run. And that's what Tennessee's skill set is.
But you got to remember, it's Derrick Henry. It's not.
It's Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry's great.
It's not Melvin Gordon. It's Derrick
It's
Henry.
a bruising running back that'll wear them down. Jets will be home. I think that they were embarrassed last week. Mm-hmm. This is the first of 2 straight road games. They go to Jacksonville after, so they're 2 easy road games in a row. I just think that the Jets will find a way to keep this game close. They'll actually lead, I believe, in the fourth quarter.
So you're saying letdown. It's a letdown game for Tennessee.
I just think Tennessee thinks they're much better than the Jets, and they are.
They are.
Here's the thing. Jets fantasy-wise, exactly. Jamison Crowder's practicing. He's not even on the report.
Right.
Jamison Crowder could be a guy that'll be used a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'd use nobody else on the offense. Okay?
Make sure you pick up Denzel Mims, so that way when he gets traded, eventually
he'll actually play on the other team.
Yeah,
and Henry's the guy. Tannehill had a great game last week. Henry didn't get in the end zone. It was really Tannehill that got him in all 3 times. I don't trust.
I think Julio's questionable, but he'll probably play.
He'll play against the Jets. I don't trust the Jets secondary. I think both receivers are in play for our friends over in Houston or Tennessee.
I got to tell you, I'm picking Tennessee.
I like the Jets to cover it.
I mean, the Jets are just, you know what? If they've showed anything, I'd be okay, maybe. But they haven't showed squat.
I think they're going to play better in Week 4.
Well,
I don't think Tennessee's D is that good.
I think you're an idiot. Kansas City against Philadelphia.
This is the surprise. The last place Chiefs play the Eagles.
I don't even think there's a question here, winning wise. Kansas City, if you're not pissed, if you are not ready to rip the crap out of somebody.
Well, they came out ready to rip the crap out of the Chargers last week and turn the ball over on their first 3 possessions. Otherwise, that game would have been over because the Chargers were already on their heels, but they just kept getting a turnover.
But that's just it.
The Chiefs gave it away 5 times.
Give it away now.
Well, it was a 5 times. Yeah, I know what that was. It was a 5 times, including the last drive of the last game. I'm not quite certain. Chiefs at 7.5 seems a little high. It's the Andy Reid Bowl. These are his 2 teams.
Defense not great. Kansas City, maybe Hurts puts up some points.
Oh, I think he will. I think he'll be able to throw. The Chiefs secondary not great.
Could we give the ball to Miles Sanders just a little bit, more than twice?
Has to get the ball. The Chiefs' run defense has been bad.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs don't, and Hurts should run the ball well too. You would expect Mahomes to bounce back. Here's the thing with the Chiefs. That second receiver. They picked up Josh Gordon this week, so you're going to see a mad race for Josh Gordon.
Yeah.
He's got more chances than. He's not playing this week.
Yeah.
But you're going to see a mad race for people wanting him to stash him away.
But he will be smoking some marijuana on the sidelines, which is nice.
He's the Steve Howe of this generation.
I believe they're having the Josh Gordon Marijuana Day giveaway this week.
I mean, so that's how desperate the Chiefs are, that number 2 spot at receiver. What I'm seeing when I watch the Chiefs, too, McCole Hardman doesn't get separation very well for a guy that runs like a deer, and neither does DeMarcus Robinson. Pringle's probably the best guy, but they're not going to him as much.
I love Pringles.
I don't think you can play anybody except for the big 3, or the big 4, I should say, on offense. For the Eagles, you play the passing game. You get Devontae will get open. The tight end, I think, even though Goddard killed me,
Ertz had a pretty.
He had 4 catches too.
Last week.
He went to Ertz more than Goddard.
Huh.
Jackass.
Jackass.
But I think the offense will be there. I think that the Eagles will come out and at least score 24. I think the Chiefs might beat them like 28-24, but it'll be a close game. I think the Chiefs will be 0-4 against the spread after this one.
Look at you. I'm going to go with Philly too. On that one. But anyway, Arizona, LA, Rams, that is.
Oh, the 4 o'clock games. Very exciting.
3-0, 2 3-0 teams going at it.
Rams look damn good.
They do.
They look
unstoppable.
Damn good. Do they have a letdown after a game against Tampa?
I don't think so. Listen, it's not like you're playing. It's not like you're playing the Jets. You're playing another good team.
No,
you're playing Kyler
Murray
and the Cardinals. I just see. I don't see the Rams giving up here. I mean, Arizona's defense is obviously vulnerable. I just don't. I see Stafford just having a party.
The thing is, the Rams now are going to go after this. Is that the Chargers or Rams? I think they play on the Thursday night against Seattle the week right after, right? So they have a short week after this, and then they have to go to Seattle. Yes. So they're going to be playing a Thursday night after this game. They just had that big game against, Tampa, which they played great.
Right.
They were a much better team. I'm not saying that'll be that way all year, but they were much better in that game. Brady still threw for 400 yards, but it doesn't matter. I mean, the Rams crushed them. I think the Rams will win the game. I think Arizona will cover it.
Gotcha. Seattle.
And by the way, fantasy-wise,
everybody.
Well, the thing is that you can't really bench a lot of your Arizona players, even though the Rams D is good. and you can't bench really any of your Ram stars. So, I mean, the big question mark is Sony Michel. Will he run well against Arizona?